Yo, what's up, fam? Been a minute since I tapped back in. Today is day 29 of my 40-day challenge. OMAD, tracking my food intake and tracking my weight every day. I've been sticking to the script, been doing all of that. So give y'all a quick update. I'm down maybe about 11 pounds, which is good. I plateaued for a couple of days. One day I actually went up. That was interesting. But then, of course, I went back down. But so far, so good. Out here in this 100-degree weather, getting a walk in. But today being July the 1st, I just wanted to basically chime in and talk about this is halftime, y'all. This is halftime for 2026, right? So with that being said, when you started this year off, January 2026, you know what I'm saying? You might have had a couple of goals for yourself, or you might have had some things that you want to accomplish. And it's time to take an assessment if you haven't already. You know, take an assessment of where you are with the things that you set out to do at the beginning of 2026. You know, you might got to reassess some things, or you might got to take a couple of things off the plate, or you might got to find a realistic pace to work at. You know, sometimes we bite off more than we can chew, and then it get overwhelming, and then we just tap out the mission altogether. So instead of doing that, you know, how about take some bite sizes? You know what I'm saying? Do a little less, but be consistent with the less, as opposed to signing on to do more and then you don't be consistent with it. Because the name of the game is consistency. I really believe consistency is one of the biggest, I guess you could say, indicators of luck, or triggers of luck, is being consistent with what you're setting out to do. And it's hard to do sometimes. You know, life get in the way. You get thrown off the path, whether it's unforeseen circumstances or people that you allow to distract you. But you got to stay the course. So today is a reminder for all of y'all who are setting out to be the best version of yourself. It's halftime. We halfway through this calendar year, you know. All hasn't lost, and you don't have to say next year, or I'll do it this day, or I'll do it that day. Nah, stay locked in with whatever that mission and your purpose is. You might gotta do some recalibrating, but just figure out a good pace, if nothing else. If you don't do nothing else, think of one thing that you know deep down that you could really be consistent at. You know what I'm saying? And then you find your pace with that, and you lock in, man, and you ride the rest of this year out. Because it might not necessarily be the year of transformation, but the year that you can get your reps in. Your reps at being consistent at what it takes to be great and to accomplish your goals. That's like with saving money, right? You'll hear some people say it's hard to save money, and they'll try to save half their check, a third of their check, 25%, 10% of their check every payday, and then something happened, they got to go back into the money. But sometimes it's about what can you do consistently. It might only be $5 a pay, $10 a pay, $20 a pay. What can you be consistent at to build up the habit of being consistent at putting that money up? You know what I'm saying? Create the habit of doing it first, then start scaling it, then start gauging it. Even with your exercise, you know, what can you be consistent at? Can you walk every day? Can you do 10 minutes? You know, create the habit of just being consistent. You lock in on that for 20 days, 30 days, 45. Then you bump it up, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you know? Even with your meals. Can you skip a meal? You start skipping the meal, then you do 2 meals a day. You don't even have to ever do 1 meal a day. You can do 2 meals a day. One of those meals, make it low carb, low calorie, and then find your pace with that. And then eventually you doing one meal a day, or if you don't ever do one meal a day, you can do just more mindful on what you put on your plate. Sometimes it's all about creating a habit first before you worrying about creating the results. Sometimes the forming a habit is more important than instant results. A lot of times we want to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds overnight, but sometimes it's just forming a habit of working out 3 to 5 days a week, regardless of any type of results you get. You might have to start walking, walking around the block. Next thing you know, you're walking around the lake or the track or the treadmill. You're going from 20 minutes to 30 minutes to an hour, But the goal is to build up the habit of being consistent. And you do that with small things. And then you scale it up. You grow from there. But yeah, I just wanted to tap in with y'all. It's halftime. It's July 1st, 2026. All hasn't been lost when it comes to your goals, your dreams, your aspiration. I'm here to encourage you, and I'm also here to encourage myself. That's why I'm out here. I try to show y'all what I'm doing in real time. Out here getting a few miles in this 100-degree weather on my break. Did some calisthenics earlier, and today I'm gonna just do this walk, eat my one meal later on this evening when I get off of work, and that's it. Ain't no need in overcomplicating it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep it as simple as possible, because the more simple you keep it, the easier it is to be consistent with it. So with that being said, I'm out of here. Y'all have a great one. This is Upholding the Standard.